Hello, good evening. Welcome to this edition of Good Evening Ghana. Thank you very much for your time. And what a weekend we had here in Ghana, and what a Monday and Tuesday that we've had. Tonight, we have two political heavy hitters who are going to speak to us in the studio in separate live interviews. Opppong Nkrumah, the Member of Parliament for Fuasi Ayerebi, as he would like to be first known before as Minister for the Information, will join us in the studio, and he's going to talk about the controversial Corruption Perception Index. Now, we have also looked at the Corruption Perception Index, and it details the corruption perception measurement for Ghana since about 2009. We have made some analysis of it that we'll share with you, but the minister will give his position. His position fundamentally is that the results of the Corruption Perception Index puts President Akufo-Addo as better in terms of anti-corruption than President Mahama. The opposition NDC think differently, and some civil society organizations have also expressed their opposing view to this particular view that the minister will be expressing in the studio tonight. Our responsibility will be to ask him questions and help him to get you to understand his position. And of course, you can comment on it by our Facebook page, Good Evening Ghana Official. You can send us a live text message and we will deliver it to him if the question is one of those questions that we have not been able to ask. And he would also talk about the big story for today. Government of Ghana launched 307 ambulances at the Black Star Square. We know that the Black Star Square is reserved for very important events, but tonight, this afternoon, it was launched there. So what's the story on social media? The commentary is that some members of the public, including some members of the opposition, are of the view that there should have been no fanfare about just launching ambulances, that Ghana is behind. China is building a 100-bed hospital in 6 days, etc., etc. Even in the history of Ghana, they say that we had a 1,000 kilowatt dam, Akosombo Dam, in the 1960s. We have done the motorway. We have done many bigger things than launching ambulances. And so the fanfare that was associated with the ambulance launch today was unnecessary, and it was politically superfluous. There are those who also think that this is a genuine gain, given our recent history, that the government has delivered on its promise. It said that it will improve healthcare, and it has delivered ambulances to every constituency and more ambulances to the highway, where we have had, unfortunately, a lot of carnage in the recent past. And so this deserves a big public announcement in the form of a fanfare. We're putting these questions to the minister and asking him some more details about these ambulances. Do they work? Were they 307 at the Independence Square today, or were they just 150? In which case, then, where are the rest? Okay, so we'll be asking the minister those questions. But if you have been looking at Twitter, since Moody's, the 120-year-old rating agency, rated Ghana, you would have noticed that on his Twitter page, the Honorable Isaac Adongo, Member of Parliament, has indicated that the entire Moody's rating of Ghana, which is saying that Ghana has now a positive outlook for investment, is laughable. Honorable Isaac Adongo thinks that there's a PR gimmick by Moody's to support the empire of Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and his henchmen who are leading Ghana's economy. He says that there's sufficient, actually more than sufficient evidence within the indices, the statistics, and the data for Moody's to have come to a complete opposite conclusion. He wonders why Moody's came to the conclusion that they did. Again, we have looked at the Moody's report in detail. We have a GTV news item from 2016 in which Seth Tekpe, the then finance minister, was commenting about a Moody's report. We'll show that to you and to Honorable Adongo for him to give us his opinion. So all of these matters are going to concern us tonight on Good Evening Ghana. We have two separate live exclusive interviews with Opppong Nkrumah and Honorable Isaac Adongo. And we do also have the first part. Now, the first part is an editorial. It's been a while, hasn't it, since we held an editorial. And today, we do have an editorial. And the editorial arises out of our activities at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday. So we were at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday to watch the Hearts Kotoko game. We made a report of it, and subsequently we have seen how much gate proceeds was gained. Tonight, we are taking advantage of that football match and all the commentary about it to establish and to restate our position on the digital migration, and to say that the position of GIBA, the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, which is against the government policy, has been exposed by the gate proceeds that were garnered at the Accra Sports Stadium by the home team, Accra Hearts of Oak. For our purposes, we'll call Accra Hearts of Oak the content owner of the Sunday game. Here is the editorial.
Ghana, we now have freedom. Ghana, land of freedom. Toils of the the brave, and the sweat of their labors, toils of the brave, which have brought results.
See that today. Who is going to be ready to overcome offer and the comeback feeling Alexander after the performance in the game against Dwarf. He's on the bench today. There we go. Game underway. It's at Imanonete. Beautiful searching pass looking for Joseph Esso. Now here is Esso. Chops it beautifully. Sends the cross in. Kwame Bar. He was alert, but this header from Bamier nearly caught Paul. There to find Esso. Esso picked up a decent cross into the near post. A free gambled for it, but just couldn't get a clean contact to trouble the goalkeeper. Great start by Hartlepool. Here is Hartlepool and Adom-Otchere. This can be dangerous. Hartlepool, Joseph Esso. It's a goal kick. The Phobians are on fire. Listen, he absolutely knows it. He knows that it's a huge chance. And you can see from his reaction. But that was a lovely cutback there. And Esso latching onto the...
Was the goal. That was the football game at the Accra Sports Stadium. And for the next 5 minutes, we're going to tell you something very important. And we have to congratulate the Ghanaian media who hyped this game so much. The game was hyped by all the media in Ghana, from Peace FM to Joy FM, City FM, Kumasi radio stations, OK FM, and all of that. All over the country, in Takoradi, in Cape Coast, in Sunyani and Tamale, the game was hyped by every media people. So we believe there are at least 30 million people in Ghana. We would like to say that at least 20 million of that 30 million were aware that Hearts of Oak were playing Asante Kotoko, and it was an epic clash. Thankfully, we have been able to christen the big game in Ghana. We call it a super clash. So there's El Clasico, there's something else, and we also have the super clash, and that was heavily promoted by the media. The promotion of the media went out to many people. So the Accra Sports Stadium takes 40,000 people. On the occasion, I was in the stadium, and easily 40,000, nearly 38 to 40,000 people were at the stadium to watch the game. Now, here is the factor that we're going to talk about. Look at the screen now. The reports of the game in terms of how much money was made by Accra Hearts of Oak. Its proceeds. That's the major way Hearts of Oak made the money. 726,000. Well, of that, they will pay some to the National Sports Council. They'll pay some to the Ghana Football Association. They might pay a little bit to their away team, Asante Kotoko, and that's how much they made. But tonight, we're going to make the point to show you how this game could have grossed much, much, much more than that. In fact, by television, if the mechanism was available, this game would have grossed at least 20 million Ghana cedis. this game would have grossed at least 20 million Ghana cedis. The game that grossed 726,000 would have grossed 20 million Ghana cedis. How will the game have grossed 20 million Ghana cedis? The game would have grossed 20 million Ghana cedis if we had a decoder. That decoder you see there. Many of you have this decoder in your home. If the mechanism was possible for you to pay 2 cedis per person per view, and 10 million people had paid 2 cedis to watch this game, Hasselfolk will be going away with 20 million Ghana cedis. That is 10 million people paying 2 cedis to watch the game. How would you have paid? How many of you would have liked to watch this game and pay 2 cedis? Raise your hand in your heart if you're home and you do have a decoder, the DSTV decoder at least, if you have that, and you would have been willing to text a certain number to your MTN short code, Vodafone short code, Tigo short code, and they would have released the channel for you and you were going to lose 2 cedis. Whether you would have liked to see this game, whether you're a housewife, whether you're a single woman, you're a married couple, and you were in Kumasi, you were elsewhere, and you wanted to keep an eye on the game, or you didn't have the time to go to the stadium, you went to church and church closed at 2 o'clock, but you wanted to see the Haskotoko game. I am certain that at least 10 million Ghanaians would have been able to pay 2 cedis to watch this game, and Hasselfolk would have had 20 million Ghana cedis by Monday. All that 2 cedis in 10 million people's pockets is hanging around in some bank somewhere. But a little of that, the aggregate of all of that would have enabled our football, and football is a big economic enabler, is a big economic multiplier, and it would have been great. Why are we not able to do this? And who is against doing this? Now I'll tell you, the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association is against this. All the adverts that GEBA have been playing on the radio and television telling you that the National Communication, the Ministry of Communications policy is wrong, is against this. This is the matter that we've been talking about forever. Thankfully, this game has made it clear. The government and the National Communication Authority is asking for a single platform, a single decoder, which has everything, which comes into your home when there's digital migration. GEBA says you should have multiple decoders in your home, and I'm going to explain all that hopefully in 5 minutes. So have a look at this. Look at the policy now. Have a look at the policy. So this is the policy of the Ministry of Communication on digital terrestrial television broadcasting policy. Now, this is the policy that the government is working with. Now, if you look at DTT, that is Digital Terrestrial Television Network Operational Structure, 3.1, it says, there shall be one, that's one, national DTT platform operator initially owned by Government of Ghana and solely established to provide exclusive signal and transmission carrier services for authorized free-to-air broadcasters. So let's stay on that. One national platform means one decoder. Authorized free-to-air broadcasters means all the television stations that you watch today, Metro TV, TV3, ETV, UTV, City TV, Atinka TV, what else? TV Africa, all of them are called free-to-air broadcasters. There will be one national platform which will have all those channels on it. That is what the Ministry of Communication is advocating. That is what GEBA is against. See what happens further. So 3.2, the DTT platform shall be built, and it has almost been finished building by Ministry of Communication. Now this started from the John Mahama era and is continuing, it's almost done. The DTT platform shall be built to include capabilities for the provision of, and this is important, HD, that's high definition TV, some of you see it on DSTV, pay TV, free-to-air FTV, and any other value-added services. So that decoder that you will be buying to watch your UTV and all of that will also have HD, it will have pay TV, that's the important one. So if that decoder was available today, Accra Hasselfolk, okay, let me finish and I'll show you. So point 3.3, the DTT infrastructure platform shall be managed by a commercial entity incorporated as the Central Digital Transmission Company Limited, CDTCL. That CDTCL shall be authorized and allocated frequencies by the NCA. The 7-member governing board shall be appointed by the president to oversee the affairs of the company. Members of the board shall include the chairperson, one representative from the Ministry of Communication, one representative from the Ministry of Finance, one representative from the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, one representative from GEBA, our people, my people, one representative of the public with infrastructure and management experience, and the chief executive officer. Okay, so let's come back to 3.2. So this company called the CDTCL, you have to look at it as the only television station in Ghana. All of us are channels, and CDTCL operates on a decoder, a box, like your DSTV decoder. That's what it is. And that's going to be the national single only platform. That platform is going to show HD and is going to show pay TV. So the Accra House of Folk, the content owner of the Sunday game, would have gone to this company and said that give us a channel, pay TV channel, which is on the same decoder, so that we can screen our game with Kotoko on Sunday. The company would have charged House of Folk some money, and then they would have put it on. So they would have told viewers, and that decoder is mandatory, you must have it, because all your free-to-air stations are on it, and that's the only platform available for watching television, so everyone will have it. So immediately there will be about 8 million of those boxes in Ghana. By the statistics and calculation that has been done, that will be the single highest distribution of boxes in Ghana in the history of the country. Is going to be bigger than any box distribution that you have today. It's going to be bigger than that. So about 8 million. Everyone is going to have it. Some will buy it, some will give it for free because there's a policy for pro-poor, but most of us are going to buy it. So you buy it and you have it, and everybody's on it. House of Folk is going to say that, put my game on channel 300. You are going to receive a message on your phone and says that if you want to watch the House Kotoko game, text this number and channel 300 will open on your decoder. And so you can see the game, and you'll be charged 2 cedis. Tell me, how many of you at home, if on Sunday you could do this, would not have done it? If you do that, House of Folk get 20 million Ghana cedis for the game. And out of that 20 million, they can pay the players $10,000 per game. This is important, and that's why sometimes we get frustrated with the Giba selfish individual position. I'm going to explain why Giba have that selfish position tonight. So this is the box. If you have this box, and assuming that it's not DSTV, it's the national DTT platform that's going to be rolled out soon, and you are asked to pay 2 cedis to watch the House Kotoko game, would you not pay that 2 cedis? If the Black Stars are preparing for the World Cup and we need to go to the taxpayer to collect $4 million and put it on an aircraft to go to Brazil, we needed to do that for the Black Stars during the last World Cup. All the Black Stars need to do in this regime is to call over the Super Eagles from Nigeria and play a game at the Accra Sports Stadium and put it on the national platform for 5 cedis, pay TV. And immediately, if 10 million Ghanaians do the 5 cedis, the Black Stars are going to get 50 million cedis and they can go to the World Cup. They will not need the taxpayers' money. And then the football is an economic enabler. House of Folk will be able to pay their players very well. Their players will employ all sorts of people, sales, marketing people. The club will now run like the way Manchester United runs that we all admire. Manchester United and House of Folk are not different. Manchester United has television. That's what makes Manchester United different. The English Premier League is different from us, not because they are blue or they are red. It is because they have television. And this is the policy that is being introduced into Ghana, and some people say no. I'll explain to you why they say no, and you might feel very sad why they say no to something like this. And that's why I want to end this with a quotation from Jeremy Bentham. And you see the quotation. So this is it. The English Premier League, in your home, if you have a DSTV decoder, the game that I don't watch, you also don't watch. It is Norwich versus Southampton. Really, nobody watches that game. We are all waiting for Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, something. Norwich versus Southampton, we don't watch it. But you've paid for it. That's the good news. You have already paid for it. Whether you watch it or not, you've paid for it. Accra Hearts of Folk lost 20 million Ghana cedis at the Accra Sports Stadium because of Giba. That's the fact of the matter. This is the real rational truth because of the activities of the selfish activities of the Ghana Independent Broadcast Association. Accra House of Folk lost a potential 20 million cedis that they could have gained from the game to enable the Accra economy, to enable for you to have a box that you can do pay TV. There has to be, the IT people say, you have to put an encryption. So nobody comes to your house to do anything, but they can remotely turn it off. That system is the encryption. So these Giba people, they have their own encryption relationships, and there are only few companies who do the encryption in the world. So the government of Ghana has signed on to one company, signed during the Mahama era. That encryption company was signed during the Mahama era. And that encryption company is one. So when you buy the box and you access pay TV services, the encryption company gets some money. Now these Giba people have gone to sign, they may have, I have to emphasize, they may have signed or have relationships with other encryption companies. So their solution to this problem is that let us have the content person shop for a box. The content. So Accra Hearts of Folk, when the Sunday game is there, because they don't want the single platform that government is advocating, they want there to be 3 platforms. So Hearts of Folk must decide, should we go to multi-TV? Should we go here? Should we go there? If you go here, UTV is not on it. If you go there, if you have a box that has Crystal TV, UTV, Metro TV, TV3 is not on it. TV3 can go for their own box and they will share with GH1. GH1 can go for their own box. That's what Giba is asking for. And Giba is hiding behind that and talking about human rights. And I'll explain to you the human rights they're talking about. Government says we're all going in a single box. Let's only compete on content. Let's not compete in infrastructure manufacturing, all of us in television. Infrastructure manufacturing is over because government has taken the transmission and the distribution away from us, and they've singled it into a single platform. So that's the only television station in Ghana. All of us are channels on it. And so if you are a content person, you are Shatawale and you have a conference at the Accra Sports Stadium. You have a musical concert at the Accra Sports Stadium. You are Stone Boy, you are Batman Samini, and you have a musical concert at the Accra Sports Stadium, and Bolare is organizing it for you. You have 40,000 people at the Accra Sports Stadium. You don't need to shop for a platform to show it on television. There is only one. So you go to that one and say, can you give me your channel 300 or 200? And then people who want to watch it can pay 3 cedis for it. So you'll be told the Valentine concert by Shatawale at the Accra Sports Stadium, you can see it in HD. You can see it by paying 2 cedis. And if 20 million pay 2 cedis to see Shatawale, there you go. There you go. That's the amount of money that the guy has made. Now, Giba is worried about this because they want the content person to be shopping for boxes. Government says, no, that's going to disenable the content production industry. Let us have one platform. Let them bring their content, football content, any content. Giba now hides behind that and says that the box that you're going to get, like what you see on your TV, because it has encryption, there would be a certain minimum amount of money for everyone to pay. Maybe 1 cedi, maybe 2 cedis, maybe 3 cedis per year. I don't know. That's to be decided. So if you don't pay that per year, you will not see that the decoder will not work. You won't see any channel except maybe one. Maybe GBC government, GTV government, you see only that one. For instance, on DSTV, if you haven't paid, you can see channel 100, which is the promotional channel. So in the same way, the box that will be coming, if you don't pay, you see only one channel. Now, Giba says that's human rights, so they don't want that. So they want the box to have no encryption, so that if you want encryption, you go and shop for it. Encryption to be able to show the Hearts of Folk game, you go and shop for it. All of you are supporters of Accra Hearts of Folk. Tomorrow morning, call the Giba office and tell them that you heard on Good Evening Ghana that they have deprived you of getting 20 million Ghana cedis into the Accra Hearts of Folk team. That's the reality of the matter. That's what is happening. If Giba had not carried this selfish resistance over the years, and if by the grace of God we had not fought them successfully until this policy, this is where Ghana would have gone. The whole policy would have just gone in, and a few people are going to own encryption and be producing boxes, and they want you to come and buy it. They want you to come and put their content on their box, and you are competing in boxes. Government says we will not compete in boxes. There will be one single platform. Everyone, come and put your content on it. If your content is good, people will buy it. If Accra Hearts of Folk Kotoko game is good, people will buy it for 2 cedis. This is the story. That is the matter. So please, Hearts of Folk people, join the fight. Join the Ghana Content Providers Association. I'm one of its founders. Call the Giba people tomorrow. Tell them that you have heard that because of them, they couldn't, sorry, my phone is disturbing me. It says, don't call me, Giba, don't call me. Watch the program. You can send text, don't call me. I'm not going to stop this. Tell them that because of their activities, they, Giba, have prevented Accra Hearts of Folk from earning 20 million Ghana cedis from the game at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday. That's the point you need to make. Why are we saying this? Yes, some people may lose money, but there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. The greatest number, the greatest good is for the greatest number of people. Here it is. Look at Jeremy Bentham. Jeremy Bentham is going to come up in a minute, and we are quoting him. Jeremy Bentham is a British philosopher. He said, the greatest happiness of the greatest number is the foundation of morals and legislation. The greatest happiness and the greatest number is the foundation of morals and legislation. So, Accra Hearts of Folk, Asante Kotoko have helped us make the case for why we must stick with the policy of a single platform on digital migration. I hope that a lot of us have understood it. If you haven't understood it, send us your questions on Good Evening Ghana Official, and as you know, I will answer them for you. But House of Folk supporters, tomorrow, call Giba, our friends. I can supply their number. I've been talking to them about this, that this attitude must stop. Let's go for it, and let's get our content industry enabled. Football content, music content, news content, politics content, music, every content will be enabled by pay TV services that can come on a single platform. That's the end of our editorial.
My name is Fifi Roxon, aka Azeman, aka forget about dough. The time here say self line they can't tell the bed. We are make what I go tell me. But as I talk my party say I won't put internet for my taxi inside. They don't understand. Some they laugh me, some they say I rush now but no ball. And the boy never the sports us. But now they get all the dropping for the station. Every passenger won't enter my taxi. Because once you enter bed, you feel connected to the Wi-Fi and you will get free fast 4G internet from Selfline. Massa, it no be easy. Even in traffic, passengers know the ball. Sometimes if it take me dropping so roaming because of internet. Massa, Selfline in your life.
Movies, news, documentaries, sports, music videos, and many more anywhere, anytime. Watch Metro TV all over the world, no matter where you are. Europe, America, Asia, Middle East, all on 2C TV. Just download the app on your mobile device and enjoy everything on Metro TV on 2C TV. 2C TV, absolute freedom.
From September 1st, Ghana is going 100% paperless at the port.
No, we are here for all of us our interest, not for any individual interest.
As for paperless, no dear. But we need more education.
Any situation which throws light is a good situation. Iron Port is a perfect intervention.
Iron Port is also adding to the growth of the country's going forward and development.
Iron Port has come to upgrade and promote the industry.
This is Iron Port, now interactive, showing live on Metro TV every Sunday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Iron Port, transparency in doing business and building nation. Proudly brought to you by.
So, where is your destination?
Accra, Pantan.
The mental hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Hey! Oh, why Jimmy?
With Nafti, showing every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on Metro Television.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Put your hands up!
Music can set you free.
2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3. Quick maths.
It's for the Kim return of Kim Mufasa, the modern day Bob Marley.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
Monday.
Welcome to the MVC. MVC, your #1 weekend music video chat buster that keeps you updated and glued to your feed for 1,800 seconds.
MVC, every Saturday at 5 p.m.
Hey, mommy. Why? So you are the one who's been disposing of urine and human excreta into the dustbins? Oh, please. The dustbins are meant for litter and garbage, not for dumping of human excreta or urine. It's not a healthy habit, crap. Stop it, please. Oh yeah, take it to the public toilet or something. The use of bins as dumping site for excreta or urine is highly inappropriate. Aside the stench, we risk the outbreak of communicable diseases like cholera or typhoid. Keep the environment clean and healthy. Do not dump urine or excreta into bins.
Hello, welcome back. Sorry, I went on a torrent against my friend Sakiba. Information Minister is connected to the information, but he's not here for that. Boss, good evening to you.
Paul, hi, how are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Nice meeting you again. How's the job?
Well, we'll take it a day at a time.
And how is Ofuasi Ayuebi? When I was introducing you, I said you preferred that before Minister of Information.
We're good.
Did you get your ambulance today?
Well, yes, every constituency got their ambulance today, including ours. Mine was actually just 2 ambulances away from the whole west that the president inspected.
Oh, I see.
So I was hoping he would enter the Ofuasi ambulance.
So 275 got it?
Yeah.
We'll come to that in a minute. Corruption Perception Index. We have looked at it and done some analysis that I'll share with our viewers on it. But when the report came out, first thing was Akufo-Addo is said to be more corrupt than President Mahama.
Yeah.
And civil society ran with it, opposition ran with it. Then you came and said, no, we should have another look at it. Tell us about the details. How is this achieved? Who does it? We know it's Transparency International.
Yeah.
Who are they?
Yeah. So Transparency International is an international non-profit organization that works to support good governance, but focuses heavily on the anti-corruption agenda. In Ghana, they work heavily, I think, with the Ghana Integrity Initiative in that space. And they compile what they call the Corruption Perception Index, which is a combination of about 13 different surveys that they put together. And then they assess the perception of corruption. Mm-hmm. So do you think corruption is being fought, or is going up, or is going down? Essentially, combining these about 13 surveys, that's what they come up to. And the critical thing is that they are scoring countries out of 100. The lower you score, that's how worse you are doing. The higher you score essentially shows how well you are perceived to be doing in the anti-corruption fight. The truth is that over the last decade or so, Ghana has been coming down. Mm-hmm. Ghana has been coming down generally for a number of reasons.
Coming down means Ghana is seen to be more corrupt.
Ghana has been scoring lower and lower generally.
Mm-hmm.
And it is because if you put these surveys together to ask the Ghanaian, what is your perception about corruption? Over the years generally, a lot more Ghanaians are hearing a lot more incidents of corruption all over the place and are walking away with the perception that corruption therefore is increasing. Mm-hmm. And it's a combination of factors. We are happy about media pluralism. We are happy about increased political activity and political partisan activity. The confluence of these is that on a daily basis, as you tune on your radios or your television set, you will hear one allegation after the other, this one taking on that. And now even among the non-government groups, whether it's about reverend ministers or even business people, etc., you hear a lot more allegations. And when you put all of that together, at the end of the period, when you ask people, generally, that is the kind of thought you are getting. But there's also the work that governments do. So governments do a number of things. One, substantive work, and two, formative activities. So in substance, what are you doing to fight corruption? And then secondly as well, what is the form? Are you creating an impression that you are fighting corruption, which will then give people a certain perception? These are the two things that governments generally do. Now, what has happened is that over the years, and if you look at the statement that was put out by the Ghana Integrity Initiative, in 2012, this is, I think, and 2012 will heavily be based on 2011 data. Mm-hmm. So this is, I think, the Mills era.
You're looking at it. Let's see whether our graph, if you can put that on TV, please, the corruption perception index year on year, and then the various presidents that were associated or who were leading Ghana at the time. No, certainly not the ambulance, sorry. If you can put that on, we can quickly have
I know the ambulance story is exciting.
So this is 2012, 2011, 2010,
2000.
Okay, so from 9, sorry, let's take it from down. 2009, 10, 11, 12. This will all be Professor Mills' era.
Yes.
So Minister, explain to us, 45, 38.
So about 2009 is coming from the end of the Kufuor era.
Yeah.
Where the NDC had run heavily on corruption. Mm-hmm. And had literally on a daily basis used the trump card of charging the Kufuor administration with corruption.
Yeah.
8 years down the line, we are very clear about how many people they could even prosecute for corruption. Mm-hmm. And it tells you that a lot of that argument around 2008 about corruption, which took our rankings down, because what it does is that on a daily basis, for example, when people were printing fake bank statements and sharing it that, Kufuor's administration had stolen money and were keeping it in bank accounts and all sorts of funny stories, it affects the perception.
So that's 2009, 39.
And then
39 is a bad score, right?
39 is a very bad score because it's low. And then you have a Professor Mills who comes in, white guy, white shirt guy, says, if you ask him to introduce himself, he says, I'm a humble, God-fearing Ghanaian. I'm sure you recall.
Yeah.
He would go to Ghana Revenue Authority and scream on the, customs officials. He would, do the ANAS principle and all of those. So that is the formative exercise, the impression coming in that, I'm fighting corruption here. And then the perception begins to take up 41 there. But by about 2011, when all of these buying of aeroplanes and their hangars and all of those issues of corruption begin to hit the administration, judgment debt issues begin to come. The perception begins to go down again, 38 point. 5-1. Now,
but that's worse than what Professor Mills inherited.
Yes, it now ends up worse than what he
inherited.
That is his tipping point. By 2012, and 2012 will measure about 2011 data properly. Okay. When you have Professor Mills, unfortunately, having demised and President Mahama taking over, you recall his press conference at the conference center where he says, I have directed this, I have directed that, I have directed that. New president, new hope, excitement. Boom, 45. You begin to see, and if you continue, you'll begin to see a
so 2012, by the time Professor Mills was exiting and President Mahama was coming, we had 45. Yeah. Okay, so 2013, we go to 46.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you see all of these instructions and early flurry
So every year we see is based on data of the previous year.
Very often.
That's how we should understand it.
Very often you will notice that the data is compiled from, the year before. So you see 46, 48, then you are coming to 47. And by the time the Mahama administration is
but from
ending,
the rise from 46 to 48, it's commendable, isn't it?
It is. Because
so you will see that President Mahama was doing well
at the
in
time
corruption.
You will see some, formative things that are ongoing. Around those times, some of the persons who had been alleged to have been corrupt, now the issues were such that they themselves have no choice but to begin to arrest some of these people, including persons from their own party. Those are the formative exercises that you put out there to show you are doing something. So you see it picking up 48. Because then when you ask people, I can see they are beginning to fight corruption.
So you're saying that President Mahama's jump from 46 to 48 is not substantial. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you see a lot, because in the end, you see where it comes to.
They will say you're being very political, Minister. Because you have to give credit to President Mahama from 46 to 48.
I give him credit, and I'm saying that from 46 to 48, I've told you that it's a combination of things. You see the substantive things, you see the formative exercises. But the important thing is where you are ending, because by the time you are ending, the whole picture unwraps. And everybody begins to see whether it was just a gimmick or it was real. Okay. Now look at it. 48, 47, 2016, which is based mostly on I think about 2015 data, 43. By 2017, when it all unwraps, we are down to...
Let's see 2017. And that will have... Akufo-Addo's photographs. So 2017, we are down to 40.
This is where...
So Akufo-Addo inherited it at 40.
At 40. This is where, after all the... jump about and exercise that appeared to be happening. You recall this Oyome matter that initially looked like it was going to court, and he had to take the new administration to now actually do a substantive exercise in court, get the court to rule, now begin to go for orders to auction his property, etc., etc. So by the time it all unwraps, you're sitting around 40. So Akufo-Addo inherits at 40. Now, you know that this whole thing that people have now bought into their head, that the society is corrupt, everybody's corrupt, this is doing that, it is doing that. Now you have to work on an exercise to take up. This is again a new president, new wave of hope, etc. So he starts, Office of Special Prosecutor, gives some money to Auditor General, do this, and you see the curve beginning to pick up.
Not quite, it's just 41 now.
No, actually it is 41 in 2018.
Which is now 2019?
Well, 41 in 2018, which is based on 2017 data, and 41 again in 2019.
2019, yes.
I think perhaps your guys got it wrong.
So
here.
2018 should be 41.
It is 41, 41.
Yeah.
So
have a look at that for us.
So you notice that indeed what has happened is that while Ghana has generally gone down, Akufo-Addo has not taken the bar lower. Indeed, if you measure point to point, he has picked up. The real test is this. How is he going to ace, for example, 2019, 2020? Are we going to see the curve going back up consistently? Or is there, for some reason, the curve going to go back down because at some point in time, people will say that, well, it looked like something was happening, but
so I get your point. So the point you've been making on radio and your press conference is that in real terms, Akufo-Addo's corruption perception index has increased. Anti-corruption, I should say.
Anti-corruption has increased. Gone up. Yes.
Has gone up.
The data suggests that.
So when the opposition say that Mahama did better than Akufo-Addo, what?
No. So essentially, what they are doing is that they are picking, let's say, an early impression of Mahama, that 47 at some point. But this is the point where.
But what does Mahama end? 40.
Mahama ends at 40. This is where
so MPP inherits at 40.
Yes. This is where he starts an exercise, and you think something is being done about it, and there's an initial excitement, and by the time it's all unwrapping. When you ask the people their perception, they say 40.
Let's have a look at Mahama again, guys. Let's have a look at Mahama again. Let's try and understand it. But that presents President Mahama's record presents quite a complicated situation.
And I'll tell you why.
Because here he is at 46, 48 in 2014.
I'll tell you why.
Which is probably the highest we've had.
I'll tell you why. If you go back to the 2012 election, there was a lot of talk made about a young person, young president, lots of hope, lots of steez and excitement coming into the system.
So and that brings 2013 to 46.
People were expectant and, looking forward to something. But by the time it all unwraps, it's down to 40.
Yeah, but in 2014, he picks up.
And I'm saying that, yes, and I'm saying that these are signs of the early days when you begin seeing some of the
So that President Mahama went from 48 in 2014
and came
to
down
40
to 40
in 2017.
Now you have President Akufo-Addo picking up from there and beginning to pick up the mantle.
And 2017 results is 2016 data
Mostly.
kind of thing.
So now, I mean, our argument is very simple. That anybody who decides to go to town and tries to confuse people that, oh, look, Akufo-Addo got 41, Mahama got 48 at some point in time, is not following the important trend analysis over the years and the things that inform this kind of thing. It is important, most important, to ask yourself, okay, so what more is the administration going to do in the fight against corruption in its attempt to ease this perception index, if it is anything to go by. But the CPI is not the only thing that has been published. Also published is the Global Corruption Barometer. I've heard some persons suggest that, oh, government wants to pick that one because that one favors government. No, government hasn't said pick that one because it favors government. We are saying that look at all the data. Look at the CPI and the trend, but also look at the Global Corruption Barometer, which was published
a point of
by
interest because
Transparency International and Afrobarometer.
Okay, but once we are done with you, Isaac Adongo is coming into the studio.
Good friend of mine.
He has concerns against the Moody's, and we want to listen to him.
I'd like to speak about that briefly before I go, by the way. And if you look at the Global Corruption Barometer as well, point to point, and it's a bit specific, that one measures 2015 to 2019. So if you, for example, ask about the overall bribery rate, 2015, about 36% thought that there was bribery ongoing. 2019, you will now begin to see 33%. That is a drop.
Oh, I see.
If you
so
take,
this is what again? Transparency
This is the Global Corruption Barometer, 10th edition, Africa.
But which countries are being measured here? Is the UK being measured?
Well, that's another debate. There are various countries. I just picked the Ghana page, point to point, 2015 to 2019. If you take, for example, the Office of the President, in 2015, 47% of the people who responded were of the view that there was corruption ongoing at the Office of the President in 2015. If you take the 2019 data, 27% still think so. That's a drop by 20%. So anybody who now looks at all of this and now tries to quickly do a press statement out there that Akufo-Addo has scored worse than
it's being disingenuous.
It's being disingenuous. That is all that we have sought to do.
I think your point is
our argument is that, listen, as a country, we need to invest more in the things that take away human interactions in public services, which is what breeds corruption. And you notice that this administration is doing a lot, particularly in the area of digitization. The Office of the Vice President is leading the digitization effort heavily. What it's doing is that it's taking away a lot of human interaction and therefore lowering the incidence of corruption. Look at what we are doing with the Auditor General, with the Office of the Special Prosecutor, several interventions. What we need to do as a country is to support all of these exercises and win. And not necessarily seek to be quick to put out a press statement thinking that nobody will read the data and everybody will be confused by it. We're not going to buy that one.
Okay. There's a graph I wanted to put up, but that's the end of this part. He wants to talk about ambulances now. Can you put up the graph quickly if you can? Okay, so this is the graph. So this represents the same thing that if you are interested, we'll put these photographs on our Facebook page and then you can deal with them. Those of you who like data. When I was younger, I used to like it, but now I like something else. so the graph is showing the corruption perception index, and
this is essentially the trend analysis we've been talking about. Because in an early year, you can start off with a lot of promise and hope. But by the time your time is coming to an end, people will now begin to see what the big picture looks like.
So
and your end scores will be quite clear.
And he ends at 40 is also Mahama.
He ends at 40.
That's a major drop.
Now, we are picking it up from 41 moving up, and we are optimistic that as we continue to do the things that we are seeking to do, we should be able to climb up higher as the years go by.
This morning's event, distribution of ambulances, people thought it was unnecessary, superfluous, and all that.
They are entitled to that view. We disagree with that view, principally because...
First of all, let's get the numbers straight.
307,
and on Asempa FM, I noticed
307 ambulances today dispatched.
I was watching Asempa FM, there was some confusion in the studio.
No, I think, people were wondering if we said one constituency, one ambulance, then there are 275 constituencies.
That's what I thought too.
Yes, but we have fulfilled that. That is 275 constituencies plus more because there are high incident routes in this country. If you look at the Accra-Kumasi stretch, beyond Kumasi going through Techiman to Tamale, there are a lot of accidents on these routes, the Sunyani Enclave as well.
So what are you doing with that?
Accra towards Cape Coast to Takrady, there are high incidents on that route, the Volta stretch as well. So what the National Ambulance Service is doing is that apart from the 275, they are also making ambulances available at designated centers on some of these routes so that it's easier to mobilize. Should there be an incident, it's easier to mobilize ambulances to go and assist. So we've done 307 today. As at yesterday, we had 55 functional ambulances, 55 in the National Ambulance Service. Remember, President Kufuor introduced the National Ambulance Service in 2004.
Oh, it's not always been part of our emergency services infrastructure.
And that's why we in the MPP always say that when it comes to innovative ideas that transform our country, you will find it in the New Patriotic Party. And we won't apologize.
In this Fourth Republic?
Well, yes, we won't apologize for making that argument because it is backed by the facts, from health insurance to several other interventions. That's not what I'm here today. But President Kufuor in 2004 introduced a National Ambulance Service, I think with about 10 ambulances across 7 centers. We have tried as a country to up the numbers, but as at now we have 55. The last time during the Mahama administration, they said they were going to augment it with 200 ambulances. They ended up importing 30 ambulances, none of which was able to serve a purpose today because, as we are all aware, they came in without any sort of equipment. These were empty Mercedes-Benz vans. They are parked at the Air Force Base. You can send your reporters to go there. They are still there. They are subject of litigation today. As at now, 55 on the road, and President Akufo-Addo, having committed $1 million CD equivalent to a constituency, when the administration started in 2017, in fact, I recall our first 100 days when Dr. Baumia at the Judicial Service Complex was asked that several constituencies are asking about ambulance. He said there's $1 million per constituency available. We can, out of that pot, provide an ambulance for every constituency, and that's exactly what we've done. So 307 today, up to 1,000.
307 plus the 55 existing?
Yes, so that 307 comes to add to the 55 existing. We are recruiting 1,400 emergency medical technicians. These are not ambulance drivers. These are EMT practitioners, people who are skilled.
Tell us about this. What's on the TV? What's happened here? This is at Independence Square today.
So this is a demonstration at the Independence Square today. These are EMT trained paramedics who are skilled in first responder duty, saving lives right on the spur of the moment before they take you to a hospital. Because very often, people sometimes even suffer worse injuries as a result of the handling at accident scenes or wherever. And you notice from these vans, these are the various bits of equipment from oxygen, gases to...
So this is in the van?
This is in the van. Fully stocked. Each one of these 307 fully stocked.
So each one of the 307 looks like this. The inside looks like this.
Looks like. I don't know if this is the Offensive UB ambulance. Are you sure it's not that?
I hope so.
Well, I'm just asking.
But they all look the same. So
well, but yes. So it is out there today. 307. As at the time I was coming here, my last check, the Honorable Mavis Howard Kumsin was still at the Independence Square as the ambulances are being dispatched to the regional.
Oh, so they are going out today?
Yes, they are going out today. As at the last.
So who are those in the green?
20. Those are the EMT practitioners, and their seniors are the ones in white. They work with the police and the fire service because what we're also... So the white, I think, are fire service officers because of the crest on their shoulders. And they are working together because we're also creating a single emergency resource center across the constituencies where you can dial 112 if you have an emergency, and like is done elsewhere, you should expect to get fire and ambulance services if you need police as well, coming together to provide that help and the assistance. And I think that is a major gain for the republic that we must build on. No two ways about it.
That's okay. Congratulations. Then what can I say? But the debate will go on. So Opppong got theirs. Okay. You want to say something about Moody's? Adongo is here for the next half an hour.
So I think we have to be clear. There are two things. There's the ratings and then there's the outlook. Our ratings is B3. That ratings has been reaffirmed. It hasn't changed. So this is not a ratings upgrade. You recall in 2016 when the same Moody's changed the outlook and said that they were thinking that we were going to move from negative to stable, because we are all aware, we all recall, President Mahama in his day told us how they had literally mismanaged the economy.
So you inherited negative.
And had to go to had to go to the fund for a bailout. And at the time,
he didn't say they had mismanaged the economy.
Well, we are all...
He didn't say that.
Well, no, he said that they had chewed the meat down to the bone. Those were his words.
Yeah, well...
Before Senchi. So, I mean, that is easy to interpret. Now, here's the point. At the time that they went, the economy was on a downward hill. And Moody's, at that time, 2016, said that they were of the view that also, particularly because of the fund program and the restrictions on us, they could move us from negative to stable. Okay. Though we're still at B3. So the outlook changed. You recall President Akufo-Addo at the time said that he disagrees with that because he does not believe that the administration of President Mahama could actually move us from negative to stable. And he was proved right by 2017 because all the indices under the IMF program, they still missed. So the confidence that Moody's even sought to project on the NDC
because
administration,
of the fund program.
because of the fund program, They undermined it because by the time we hit 2017, and I have the data here, I can go through it. Deficit under the program was supposed to be about 5.3%. They ended up at 9%. Expenditure was supposed to be 43 billion, 26% of GDP. They ended up doing 50 billion. That was 30% of GDP.
Well, but expenditure on infrastructure is not bad.
They ended up doing 30% of GDP expenditure when their revenue.
What was expenditure on? I think that's the most important political question.
No, that is not. For example, you compare your expenditures to your revenues. If you projected to do revenues of 39 billion, and therefore spend 43 because you were going to do a little borrowing in between, and you ended up doing revenues of 33 billion and spending 50 billion, that's more fiscal crisis you are creating for us. That is how come our debt
if you urgently needed a hospital, you have to spend on it.
You have to spend within your means.
As a government, if you urgently needed a hospital, if you have a disaster, if you have something.
Because if that is the answer, then what any government will do will be to run the debt numbers to 100% and over and say, because I have needs.
If it's an emergency.
It is the reason for which we have gone to pass a Fiscal Stability Act that says that no matter what happens, you cannot, as a minister responsible for because until then there was no law. Finance ministers could make this argument. There was an emergency, there was a shock, there was this.
Yeah, but it is fire guts down.
That is why. But this is the reason for which our economy has been where it is.
Okay, I get your point. Okay, so you're saying that the Moody is bringing us to now positive.
Today Moody says two things. They see all the work that has happened, and they affirm that rating. But they also see that because of the work that has happened, they see a positive forecast ahead of us. And we are saying that what they are saying is not different from the four major arguments that we've been making about macro stability being restored, about the growth numbers in the medium term going up, about the financial sector being stronger, about our debt position getting better. And so what Moody's has said to the entire world is that if you want to do FDIs in Ghana, if you want to put your cash in Ghana, you can even expect that beyond what the government has done, it will now go positive. Beyond what the government has done. Now, I've heard people like my good friend Adongo say that it's a PR exercise.
He's going to explain that to us. Okay, Minister, I think that you've made your point.
What was the 2016 one about? I didn't hear him say it was a PR exercise.
We have a video of, and I've already sent it out, Seth Tekpe on Ghana television in 2016 talking about Moody. So Adongo will deal with that. Let's come back to you. Opppong, are you running for another term?
Yes, I am.
Are you being challenged?
I am not aware of any challenge currently.
Oh, that's good.
But I don't take anything for granted.
Because people have started challenging other people.
Well, I don't take anything for granted. I believe it's just like how I started off. It's a number of votes on the ground. You need to canvass and get each one of those votes, demonstrate what you have done in the first 3 years, and convince them to give you 4.
Have you made it a safe seat for the MPP, or has it always been, or you're increasing the margins?
Well, it has been a comfortable seat for the MPP. I think our margins are gradually getting better, particularly because of the kind of work we're doing on the ground and the community interactions that we're having, and how we are generally working to bring the image and the recognition of the constituency onto the national.
So show me, where exactly is Opppong Nkrumah?
It's just after Achimodna. Between Achimodna and if you're going to Nkoko or Abrim, it's a beautiful piece of land.
So if I get to on the Kumasi Road, I get to Nkoko, turn right into Nkoko to
No. If you're on the Kumasi Road, if you got to Nkoko, you do a left rather, and then come back through Abrim to Opppong Nkrumah. But if you are going,
so it's nearer Chebi?
If you're going, let's say, towards Chebi, once you get to Nsaom, you do a left, come to Asamankese, Akroso, Achimodna, and then you will come to Opppong Nkrumah. You should visit us.
I should. This campaign season, I'll come and see what you're doing. What kind of talent do they have there?
We have a lot of young people who are interested in agriculture and skills that actually get them jobs. So there are a lot of young ladies who are interested in dressmaking and hairdressing, and a lot of young men who, apart from agriculture, are also interested in the basic skills that young men do.
I know that during campaigns, the women sing. So what song do they sing in your name? How do they sing your name? Do they say Kojo, Opppong Nkrumah, or say or something like that?
I am tempted, but I invite you to come and listen for yourself.
I'll come and listen. Thank you very much. That was Honorable Minister for Information, the Honorable Kojo Opppong Nkrumah, who is also Member of Parliament for Opppong Nkrumah. Up next is the fiery Isaac Adongo. So, where is your destination?
Accra, Panten.
The mental hospital.
Hey! Opppong Jimmy.
Metro Television.
Entertainment just got better and exciting. Metro TV is now on 2C TV. Enjoy your favorite shows, movies, news, documentaries, sports, music videos, and many more anywhere, anytime. Watch Metro TV all over the world, no matter where you are. Europe, America, Asia, Middle East, all on 2C TV. Just download the app on your mobile device and enjoy everything on Metro TV on 2C TV. 2C TV, absolute freedom.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Set you free.
2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.
It's for the King Return of King Mufasa, the modern day Bob Marley.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
Monday.
Welcome to MVC. MVC, your #1 weekend music video chat buster that keeps you updated and glued to your feed for 1,800 seconds.
MVC, every Saturday at 5 p.m.
The show is a funny one.
He's a king of prime time. Do you want a linguist? Or you want Fetish Speech?
This KSM show is an extraordinary.
Yep, every Friday on the Prime Time show.
This is the numero uno show in the whole of Africa.
If there's one show I don't miss, it's the KSM show, the king of prime time.
KSM show. Noji Manchaya Prime Time.
Keep watching. Keep watching.
Really, what else would you be watching other than the KSM?
That's what I watch. All smart people do this.
The
KSM show.
The KSM show, Fridays at 9 p.m. on Metro TV.
Welcome back to the show. Thank you very much for your time. Honorable Adongo is here, Isaac Adongo. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
We have been reading your Twitter messages. You are angry with Moody's.
I'm not.
Moody's is a over 100-year-old organization, rating agency. So they must know their job, we think so. They are saying that Ghana has moved from stable to positive outlook. And they are telling investors that. But of course, you live in Ghana, you're a member of the Ghanaian parliament, and do you have a different view? Do you have the mechanism to do the calculation that Moody's do? Or why are you saying that their outcome or their results are a PR gimmick?
All right, so let me say good evening to your listeners and to yourself.
Thank you very much.
Yes. First, let's understand that the work that Moody's did was not informed by their normal rating of a country. It was a procured service by the government of Ghana.
Don't they do it regularly, Moody's?
I'm saying that this particular exercise was issued by Moody's Investor Service